The only person who can stop me is God. I say it all the time. Do not give a fuck if you like it or not. I really did this record for me. I'm just trying to compete with the bills, the fridge, and myself.
Do you feel you've had a fair opportunity? A fair shot?
We need to just lay this ego down and actually look to the source, because I feel like no one is actually getting their flowers. The minute I stopped caring, I started having fun again. And that was the whole point.
Yo, Blood, do me a favor, bro. Don't smoke in front of my kids.
Because I loved it. It just happens to pay the bills. How can I give up if I'm telling you, you can't? And that's what I'm all about now. Legacy, taking control of that legacy. Because when I die, what are my kids gonna have?
Picture this. The year is 2005. I'm in this independent record store in Exeter called Reform Records. I've just done a little in-store performance, signed a few records, and I'm making my way out of the store. As the door is closing, the DJ drops this track which instantly blows me away, so I had to run straight back in and purchase that record. That was my introduction to my guest today. But before we begin, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell to receive the notifications, like, share, and get involved in the comment section below. So without any further ado, I'm excited to have on the 521 DocuChats one of the only handful of artists that has ever blown me away in a way where I had to rush back into purchase the record that they just made. My very good friend, rapper, producer, and working class dad, Micall Parknsun. Wow. What's going on, bro?
Bro, what kind of, bro, that intro blow me away, bro. Like, bro, see a black man blush, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro.
Bro, you know what? Like, before we even get started, I just want to tell that story because, like, I was in that record store and I swear, like, I was literally, the door was closing and I hear the beat come in and I ran back in going, what the hell is this? Right? Yeah, and them guys are like, it was a white label that dropped in and they were like, we don't know. Let me check the details.
Must have been a test for pressing at the time.
Right. So obviously when I found out, I'm like, I never heard of this guy. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? And then obviously soon after I ended up meeting you. Yeah. But that reaction, the last time I remember getting that kind of a reaction was when I heard the DO to the C, the Doc. Bro, I heard his stuff and I was like, oh
bro,
my God,
like, yo, that? damn, that, yo, wow. Thank you, man. That's, because the DOC, like, even to even be compared in that aspect, that's mind-blowing.
But anyway, bro, where do you want to start? Because you are a guy with a massive history that's done so much for so many people as well along the way.
Well, I'm just mad honoured that I've had a start in and I'm still continually going. Like, I'm still going. I'm still, you know, there is no ending. There's still so much more to come. I'm honoured to have worked with the plethora of artists. I've worked with heroes I've met, influences I've met, influences I'm speaking to right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy, you know, I'm honoured. I'm humble. I hope I'm humble enough. But yeah, like, I'm just, yeah, thank you. Because this is my bread and butter. This is what I do. This is how I feed the kids. You know, so it's really to actually conceptualize, you know, from that record to where I am now and what I'm doing. It's just a bit of a mad, even from back of that, doing that record, when I did So What, even though I had more records before, but that to think, if you would have told me, yeah, man, like, Pharaoh Monch will tell you, you know, you make hip hop music, bruv. It's none of this, like, Pharaoh Monch, like, told me many a times, I'll tell you, shut up, bruv.
And I remember
you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you, shut up.
Yeah, I remember, you know, when we were at Boom Bap and we were going on that
Yeah,
coach.
that was the second time. Yeah. No, that was the third time. I mean, because I bucked him before. But, you know, yeah. And then he would, yeah, the promoters were trying to kick us out. And he was like, nah, they with us. You with us. Like, because we were with them, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's just, it's a mind-blowing thing. Because obviously, we've worked with the same producer as well. Big up M Phases. He's doing his thing now. He's a songwriter, pop. He produced for Demi Lovato and stuff. He lives in LA now, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just wow.
Is that one of your goals? Like, because obviously you're producing a lot now. Is that your goal to kind of like transfer everything, not everything, but to still carry on working with people here, but to be able to kind of work with a lot of bigger named artists or artists out there that have bigger opportunities to make something more happen?
I'd love to work with some of my favorite artists, and maybe it's possible. But right now, I feel it's a bit, what's the word? I'm still trying to, as I said, I've never had a chance to soak up everything I've done because I've done so much. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we're in 2023. It's like my third album's 10 years old now. Like, sorry, let me just put this in the camera. Shameless plug. You know what I mean? You know, this album here changed a lot for me as well, right?
I remember doing the promo CDs for that.
That's what I'm saying. You know, that album changed a lot. That kind of put me in that plethora of production because I had 2 albums previous to that. Working Class Dad. The interview mixtape. Did you do the CDs for that as well?
I don't think I did the CDs.
Because that was Low Life, innit, really?
Yeah.
And then...
I was doing CDs for Low Life as well.
So you might have done that as well, man.
Could have.
So you must have done that as well.
Probably.
So so the interview mixtape, and then I did First Second Time Round, which you did. I know you did that. Mm-hmm. You did Akai as well. So it's bruv, it's just like to go through all of them phases. But when Akai happened, it was kind of a game changer because I've produced with some legends on the mic.
Let's go back to before you even began. So at some point you just went, I want to get involved in music. And you didn't understand the journey because music, when we're young, we just look at it like this is something we want to do.
Bro, it's mad, isn't it?
You don't realize the madness that comes with it.
You know what? I didn't see it as starting. It's funny how you say that because in my mind, starting is when you're living off it. To me. That's just to me.
That's why I said we didn't think of it as anything other than we just make music.
No, because when I did Working Class Dad, I had a job. You know, well, just before it came out, I got fired. I was a postman. And after that, I was doing agency jobs. I was a binman. You know, I would just whilst doing the job. But Akai, that was the leap. And ever since for 10 years, I've just been living off music. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a family, it's a scary thing. You get me? But I always knew in my head, this is my career. This is what I wanted to do, even when I had a job. Job is just to make, ends meet, get by. But your art, to try and turn it into a conduit to live off it, that's the whole goal, to me,
When you were working, did you ever kind of get this inclination that, you know what, I can make the music work, so I'm going to walk away from all the paid jobs and go into this potential?
No, I never thought that in my wildest dreams. The only time I thought that was, it's kind of funny. I've spoken about it in many interviews before. My cousin was actually present as well. And he had, it's mad when I look at stuff in retrospect, but I tour a lot with Jehst back in the days. So I'd already finished me, myself and Akai and what have you not, but I hadn't taken the leap. So I was still a part-time cleaner at Xerox. And we done the Outlook Festival. And we had a full band and all of that. And I did So What, with a band. You know what I'm saying? At the main stage, I think there was 20,000 people. I don't even know, it was thousands of people. So what's so mad and ironic and mad about this day is, obviously I come back from doing the show, back to reality. You've got to go back and hoover floors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah? And so I'm hoovering the CEO's office. And I'm going, and then the plug got taken out. And he goes, yo, when I say real, you say shit. He was literally quoting what I said to the crowd. He was there at Outlook Festival.
Oh, wow.
And he said, why are you here? Like,
Bro, it's
you know what I
those-
mean? Like,
it's
and then
those eureka moments, innit?
yeah,
It's
like, and he was like, why are you here? And I'm like, bro, I got kids to feed, man. It ain't a game. Like, regardless of whether you love my music or not, these bills need paying. You get me? So,
you know,
like, I'm just sorting the reality. But the thing is, the irony of that day, this has all happened in the same day. I meant to go to the studio to go and link Jehst. I forgot, I think it was finishing off something, or I did a feature, something. But my cousin, the Fly Hooligan, everyone buy his stuff, yeah?
100%.
All right, he had a session with Chemo, because Chemo used to share a studio, formerly known Forest DLG, Forest LG, so I can't even promote, but yeah, big up Chemo, who masters everyone's. He's literally the backbone of the UK hip hop sound now. He had a session with him, so I've come and I'm late for my session, so obviously their session has carried on, and Jess just had a go at me. Bruv, you can't be with, look how long you've been doing it, you're on your third album's about to drop, you still all this 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I'm like, bruv, you ain't got, bruv, do you know what it's like for me to run, like I'm just wilding out, because I've already had, he doesn't know the CEO's spoken to me. He doesn't know anything what I'm going through.
I remember speaking to Jehst on the phone one time, and I said, Jehst, without being rude, what are you doing, bro? Like, because he was doing so many things, and he was losing, in my opinion, at the time, maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like he was losing focus on what he was doing. And that's really the person that people wanted to see, Jehst. And I was trying to say that to him. But I remember this conversation, and I said to him, bro, without being rude to any of the other people, the person you need to be carrying is Micall Parknsun.
Fair enough.
You know, because like I just felt from the very beginning. That's not a disrespect to any of the other artists.
You know,
but he needed. I felt like he needed to kind of cut back a little bit because he was doing too much. And maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but hey, we are where we are. You know what I mean? I feel, regardless, you can tell, and just to stay on this topic just for a bit, you could lead someone to the water. It's up to the, horse is not going to drink it. It's up to them, innit? Like, you can tell people till they're blue in the face. Sometimes it takes something to happen in someone's life to realize, it's happened to me. Everyone's had that kind of situation where, and then when they realize, oh, you know what, I should have listened. Sometimes it's too late, sometimes it's not. And then you try and make steps to fix it. With me, and in that situation there, I even look at it in hindsight, and I'm thankful for that situation. As much as I got into an argument in the studio, what kind of helped that situation was my cousin. Because I just found out he was my cousin, which is weird. We knew each other like 10 years prior before we found out we were related.
What a cousin to have, though.
Yeah, I know. I love him, man. I love him. You know what I'm saying? So, like, with that in mind, he put me straight. My cousin was like, nah, man, he's right. You've been doing this too long. You can't be doing this. So I went back home. And this is like, over 10 years now. But I went back home and had a conversation with my wife. So we're going to do this leap. And it's like, yeah, man. So we went about trying to do it legally. And hence, it's kind of mad because a lot of people, if you look at my work ethic, it's treated like a job, but it's not a job if you love it. You know what I mean? So like, lots of people always say, yo, bruv, how do you do it? How come you're banging out so much beats? You produce it for this person, you do that. Because I love this shit, man. It just happens to pay the bills.
We'll come back to talk about that. But, I want to find out how the whole idea of parenting and making music, I want people to understand the depth that an artist has to go through to even maintain themselves. And there are so many artists out there that can't handle that. And, you have to be a certain mental level and have a certain inner strength to be able to carry on the way you did.
I don't know. The only thing I can think, maybe my ancestors, maybe like, because where I'm from, like how my circumstances, even being raised alone, should be enough to show you why. My mom had me when I was 19. Sorry, no, when I was 19. My mom had me when she was 19. In it, the Twilight song. Yeah, right. My pops is like 27, 28. You get me? Like, them things was acceptable back then, blood. Yeah, like, they got divorced when I was about 3. But back then, you know, the laws were different, innit? It was before they changed the law. This is when Kramer versus Kramer was out. Remember that
Yeah, of
movie? You
course.
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
come on.
That's
Dustin
what I'm
Hoffman,
about.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
right. Basically, I was asked as a 3.5-year-old, who do you want to stay with, your mum and your dad? And obviously, I'm going to say my pops, innit? So I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of struggle. My dad's, like, through their bitter thing, my dad just raised me on his own from the age of 4, because I didn't really see my mum until I was like 13, like to 10 years of my life. Just didn't know my mum. I know my mum now, bless her, I love you, mum. But you know, all of these kind of things, it's just survival mode. Hidden traumas, whatever it may be, in it, it's just all locked in there, and you just move on. My dad just was raggo from young. Like, he took me. I've been to Africa like 6 times, and every time he went, he would take me to the point of no return. You know, where they would take, there's an arch just written Latin where they actually took the slaves. You know, on the Gold Coast.
I've
Yeah,
not seen
right.
it,
Yeah,
but I've heard about it.
my dad used to make me watch Roots. I was watching Roots at 6. Even in the movie Coming to America, I used to bug out because I'm a movie head, in it. Because, you know, McDowell's, you know, soon
Oh,
to be.
Eddie Murphy
Yeah, yeah.
film. Yeah, yeah.
He's John Amos. He plays John Amos. John Amos is Kunta Kinte, the old version of Kunta Kinte. Yeah.
All right.
But James Earl Jones, King Jaffe Jofar, he's the last descendant of Kunta Kinte. It's like Eddie Murphy put them in the film on purpose, like, and they're both father figures, and yeah, like, just, bro, my dad was just raggo, and he just showed me things, innit?
So obviously you had the fallout of your family breaking up and whatever from early. So you now, as a parent and making the music and whatever, you, I guess, wanted
Living
to
the
break
dream.
that cycle.
Yeah.
And you didn't want that to happen. So you've always stayed firm in that family thing. And it's obviously, family's mad important to you.
There's that, but at the same time, there's the whole, this is what I'm saying about whole growth and growing up and learning. Because at the same time, if you've never had a family, how do you know how to keep one? It's all about learning thyself and learning your flaws and what have you not. And I'm thankful to my wife for growing up with me and waiting for me to grow up as well.
Explain, as an artist, the importance of having someone like that in your corner.
Oh man, listen, as an artist, even as an artist, I doubt I'd create on a level. Even though a lot of things I create are not centered around my wife or my family, I doubt it's still all about energy for me. And the fact that I have a family of my own, it's my energy, innit? It's mad. It's like they're all about protecting our energy, and you know, that's you know, as an artist, I'd be lost without that energy, because without that energy of something, it's like purpose. I have more than you got a purpose to create art. I've got more than a purpose to create art, because this art is worth something, and this art goes to what I've created. It's mad. I can't even describe it. Like, it feels like some science. The nucleus creating life, reaching out for life, and all of that.
A couple of days ago, I was reading up on Virgos.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to read this thing, which basically says Virgos are logical, practical, and systematic in their approach to life. The earth side is a perfectionist of heart and isn't afraid to improve skills through diligent and consistent practice.
What about the other side?
Which one? The madman.
That's the thing, you know.
I was just trying to present you in a good light.
Yeah,
You're
I
gonna
know,
mess it
but
up.
this is what I mean. Like, it's balance, innit? All of them things, I don't live a systematic. Maybe my art has a systematic way of doing things, but I don't. Because if I did, I would suggest I would be, what's the word? If I approached everything systematic and with a perfectionist way and nothing will come out. Nothing. I would have none of this. I wouldn't have this new album or have all of these. Nothing. Because I think, to me, I think it was really after Akai, which in a way was kind of mad. But after Akai, I kind of found the beauty in imperfection. I found that everyone has their own imperfections, and their own imperfections is what makes them specifically them, and no one else can do it. You know, in hip hop, you see a lot of people trying to, yeah, I'm better than you, yeah, but I make better beats, or I'm doing this, or I'm trying to compete. Cool, do what you want to compete, who you want to compete. my whole issue with me is that I've always trying to be a better me, trying to compete with myself. I ain't trying to compete with nobody, blood. I'm just trying to compete with the bills, the fridge, and myself. Get what I mean? What I'm saying? You know what I
That's
mean?
real.
You know,
That's real.
that's
I
it.
think most of the best artists pretty much compete with themselves.
Yeah, like
because we always, if we're on a certain level, or we believe we're on a certain
yeah,
level,
like
we look at everybody as, why would I look at you if I'm better than you?
see, like with this is kind of weird in parallel. So I have to explain this. With this was to prove to myself I could. Like, oh, I can do a self-produced album. Like, you make the beats. With this, it was
I
like,
think that's a genius title, by the way. Me,
thank you,
myself, and
thank you,
Akai.
thank you, man,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
brilliant.
With this, the new album, it literally proved it. I can do it when I want, how I want, turn the tap on when I want. Like, as in terms of, it felt good. This felt more gratifying because it was done at home. It was done with love. It was done with no rushing. It was done with friends, family. And there was no pressure whatsoever. There was no like, and it was effortless.
No clock watching.
Yeah, like, and to see it be made and now it's here and how it's being receptive, which is nice because when I did do it, I say it all the time. I do not give a fuck if you like it or not. I really did this record for me. You get me? This album, though, was a statement because it wasn't just for me. It was for everybody else. Yo, you can do your own album, you know, you can produce your own thing. Like, but that was hands down for me, like a conquest. I see all the, you know, everyone needs someone. I understand that. I just needed to prove to myself that I could record an album.
I want to ask you a question, which I feel like is something that I probably would love to ask every artist. But how do you feel the industry and the fans, not necessarily your fans, but fans of the music and all that, have treated you? Do you feel you've had a fair opportunity, a fair shot?
I want to say yeah and I want to say no. I want to say yeah, but at the same time, it's because I've had to work twice as hard than anybody else. But at the same time, I'm not doing it for that mass acknowledgement. Like a lot of people say to me, yo, you know, you're ill, you're better than my man, or you're doing this, or why is he bigger than you? I've even heard it from, you know, artists who put my records out. Why are you here on the bill? You should be bit. And it's like all of that shit kind of goes into ego. It's still a place of ego. I could be more prominent, but I have to remember and be realistic. We are in the UK, bro. Like, predominantly, this country, I make up 13% of the demographic. Yeah. So if I've got people buying my records in the States and elsewhere, which I'm happy for now. It took a while, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, like, there's no one's gonna relate to especially of the new generation, because this is how you gotta look at it. Like an old, like, you know, a man whose parents married does dope hip hop. They want to know, and that's the sad thing about hip hop nowadays. In the new generation, there's got to be an angle to it, and it all kind of started. Funny enough, he's still a dope artist, and he will still remain. Started kind of like with 50 Cent, because I remember, because and funny enough, that's when So What came out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I was taking a little bit of a mick of it, but realistically, it's the same thing. It's like you needed a gimmick. It doesn't matter whether you're Dr. Dre signed you and Eminem signed you. In order for you to get this Reebok deal, we need to put in the advert for Reebok, your Reebok shoe deal, your 50 Cent got shot 9 times. So raw, you get a shoe deal for getting is that a sport now to get shot 9 times? Like, no, but that's what it was back then. I'm talking about like the reaction to it in 2004, 5. You know what I mean? 3, like around then when it came, you know what I'm saying? G Unit and all of that. It's like the G Unit sneaker, like man was like Reebok actively advertised the fact that this artist had been shot 9 times. It's like, who was what was David Beckham? What, he's Adidas, innit? He scores goals, innit? Like when you think about that, a sports shoe. And that's when, you know, it's depending on branding and how you want to do things. And I just thought, nah, whatever I do, I've got children looking at me, and I'm gonna do it the right way. I'm not gonna do it, you know, because it depends on how you define success.
Well, you know, I know people that basically just wanted to make one record, and to them that's success. They didn't sell any. I actually know a guy that manufactured 1,000 CDs and sold none. He gave 2 away, and one was to Giles Peterson.
Wow.
Right? The rest of them, it was girlfriend basically saying, right, either get rid of them or I'm leaving you. You know what I mean? Right? And
oh my days.
but to him, that was successful that he manufactured 1,000 CDs because he had the money from work to manufacture it. So he didn't really care whether the rest of the world heard it.
It's like this. A lot of artists who are big right now, who are bigger than me, if you want to see it that way, they know who I am. Like, some of them I've inspired. I'm happy with that, man. Like, I'm not, you know, I'm behind the boards nowadays, you get me? So I produce for a lot of people, a lot of dope artists, a lot of the new generation who are just killing it, you get me? Like,
Do you want to name a couple?
I just had a new joint with Lunacy, big up Lunacy.
Wicked.
Damn, there's so many of them. Mockman, Joker Star, well, obviously he's my generation.
You done stuff with Squibbler, Kyza.
Yeah, Squibbler, Kyza, Sus Bully, Dirty Goods, Verb T. I'm gonna have something coming out of Amy True soon.
Wicked.
Noughts. We got some crazy stuff coming out. Damn, I've got some stuff with Leaf Dog, Anyway the God, Dan Chan Collective, Rap Exchange.
But basically, the list is endless.
Yeah,
it's
it's
endless.
done.
But let's go back to the question that I asked, where I said you feel the industry has treated you fairly. I'm waiting for the answer to the no part.
No, the industry doesn't treat anyone fairly. So why should I be worried whether the industry treats me fairly when in the get-go or in the whole scheme of things, it doesn't treat anyone fairly? So then shall I be upset that, you know, like, I'm not getting treated fairly in an unfair system when it's just unfair anyway? Yeah, that's the conundrum for me. It's like I can moan and be like, look, bruv, I make up a minority. I talk about conscious stuff and facts. I can talk all of whatever, but no one's relating it because I'm not talking about ketamine or drugs or doing something. You get me? Whatever's hip. So no one cares. And I'm a black man. No disrespect, but it is what it is. You get me? Like, you have to know your place. But my whole thing is, for me, that's not the case. You identify with your fan base. If you've got 100 fans who just buy, and you convince them to spend £50 on your product a year, like, you're good. And you can build that 100 fan base. A lot of people don't even really realize, like, that's how, like, Griselda and all of these people started. Like,
oh, bro, come on.
You get me? Like, so it's like, what I find in the UK is too many artists are too busy trying to spread their fan base, like, or make their fan base grow instantly instead of concentrating on the fans they have already.
Do you know what I always say? There's 8 billion people in the world. Why are you trying to get everybody?
That's what I mean. I don't get it. Look, if you like my stuff, you like my stuff. If you F with me, thank you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't mess with me, cool, man, change the channel, blood. It's one of them ones, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to force you to, like, buy my stuff, like, or whatever.
And I think a lot of people waste a lot of time and energy trying to get people that just aren't interested.
There's some people who get annoyed because I'm everywhere. Well, you know, some people don't like me as an artist.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that,
I was going to say, so
there's some people annoying in it.
Yeah, like there's some people, like, they may not like me as a rapper, or they just don't like me. I don't know what it is, but there's an art, yeah. but there's an artist who they really love, and I've produced a song.
Wow. They don't read.
Or sometimes they don't read, or sometimes they do, and then they're like, ah.
No, but do they read the credits though to even know that you're involved?
Well, sometimes they'll just be bitter, and they'll be like, oh, boom, lyrics, but I don't like the beat or whatever. Like, it is, but you know, it is. But I'm not really bothered. Like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I didn't ask your favorite artist to like and fuck with me. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. A lot of people be like, oh yeah, why you mess with my man? Because I think he's dope. This is all about opinion and what you think is dope. What you might think is dope, I might not fuck with. But it's cool. Do your thing.
When you mentioned being a binman and a postman and all that, it took me back to a place where I was at once. And I just want to explain this part because I feel like there's a great answer waiting to come from you. I was working at Macros pushing trolleys, and I specifically asked to be outside pushing trolleys. They didn't understand why, and I'll tell you why. It's because I knew that if I was outside, I could listen to headphones, right, or earphones, and they wouldn't know that I was doing that. And what I was doing was I was memorizing all my lyrics because I was preparing to go on tour. They didn't know that, but it's a deeper story. I'll tell it one day. But I knew I was going to blow up at one point. I knew it, bro. Have you ever had that feeling?
I did it when I hoovered floors. I did it with like, I always had headphones in. Everything.
No, but I'm saying, did you know that something was going to change? That a bigger thing was coming?
Well, come on, man. I've been feeding a family for the past 10 years.
Sorry. That's what I wanted to hear.
Like, you know, like, regardless of whether I'm owed this or whatever it may be, yeah, I've been feeding my family by hook or by crook without doing any criminal activity, just off that, like, just off beats, just off shows, just off whatever, you get me? Like, and I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for it. Whoever supports me, whoever still supports me and is behind what I give. And if I've inspired you, that's all I can do, man. It's doable. It's just about your ego, whether you got your shit in check. I've seen some people throw away their careers over it. I'm seeing numerous people throw their careers over egos, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it is what it is, bruv. You just need to keep your shit in check. There's a difference between knowing yourself and just allowing your ego to just take you away. A lot of people can't deal with a lot of confident people. Now me, I'm a humble person, but I'm confident in my humbleness. I know my powers. Some people can't deal with that. Like, as you know, I love my cousin. A lot of people can't deal with my cousin's confidence. He intimidates people, blood.
No,
I love my cousin.
Yeah,
I'll bleed for that. Wait, listen. I ain't gonna say what he do, bruh. But anyway, yeah, like someone else's confidence and someone else, you know, their passion for something.
That scares people.
Why? Because you wish you had it.
They're insecure in it.
Well, then that's
their problem, not yours, not Hooley's,
you know what I mean?
mine.
And this is the issue, man. Like, a lot of people sometimes in art and create, oh yeah, you're dope, but I reckon I could do it better.
Have you ever had that one where someone comes up to you and says you're dope and then turns around to talk to someone else and goes, that guy's shit? I've had that loads of times. It's brilliant.
You can just look at the internet. You know what I mean? I'm not, to be honest with you, I don't care, like, anymore. I used to. There was a stage when I did care, like, because, you know,
because you've given everything to this.
Yeah, there's that, but at the time, I think I stopped caring when I started having fun again. The minute I stopped caring, I started having fun again, and that was the whole point. And since I've had fun again, I've made dope music. Like, I'm not trying to say that the other music, you know, but when it's with the intention to try and captivate or get other people on board or like that, it's kind of a bit sus, isn't it? Like, I'm not saying that my albums, like Working Class Dad, because Working Class Dad, your first album is always going to be like
a statement.
Yeah, and for me, my heart's always been on my sleeve, you know? Because my heart's always been on my sleeve, there's nowhere to hide. There's no persona to hide behind. There's no it's always been that. I even think, funny enough, I'll say this. Yeah, Kalashnikov said to me one time. It was with Double Edge, and we were supporting him. Funny enough, at the Fekla in Bristol. Okay. Scribbler was there. Some of the man them there. Kyza weren't there, but Kayla said, "Yo, bruv, you know you're true. Like, you're a real one, innit? Like, you're so real. Like, I don't think anyone can kind of like come out and just start gunning you, because if they start cussing you, it's like equivalent to gunning your own mum and dad. Like, because you're just, what are you doing? Like, no, let's be real. Like, what are you doing? You're not harming anyone. You're saying, yo, I just want to have somewhere nice for my kids to rear. You happen to be fucking dope or whatever. Like, what are you doing? Like, you know, I'm not saying, yo, I'm better than this guy. He's whack. You know what I mean? I might, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I'm not doing any of that shit. So, if someone should just come out the bat and just say, I don't like him, kind of look like a hater. Like, why are you hating, man? I just don't like anything good or anything righteous. It's up to you. But the fact of the matter is, I stopped caring, innit? The minute I stopped caring was the minute
You started achieving.
Yeah.
That place is a beautiful place to be because you've got your own confidence. It doesn't matter. This is something I try to instill in my kids, is basically once you've got that shield around you, no one can penetrate that shield. And it's knowing your own levels, your own abilities, and just accepting that, like, not everyone's going to see your vision. They only see the vision when it's happening.
That's it. They only people care when it's working. And I've known that for a long time. But I mean, like, for instance, even when I was putting out records prior to the pandemic, even in terms of my releases, like when I did, the Magnum Opus came out just like 2020, the pandemic lit kind of thing. But I started recording it around 2019. The previous year, I had me and Mr. Things album come out. So I was on a wave of just discovering myself as an artist and just not, I want to do some dope shit. But I wasn't doing gigs. And I got used to this whole like realm of selling my records out without doing shows. You know what I mean? And the whole purpose of when we would do this shit would be like, the whole model of, all right, we've got the album ready, put the album out. All right, now we've got the tour so we can sell the rest of the records. But my shit was just going. And then I was like, and then big up Jazz T, best man, irreplaceable guy.
Yeah,
when I put out Backing, because I'd already done Practice, which sold out with him. And I was like, when I put out Back in Business, that was in the pandemic. Ain't no one doing any shows.
Have you ever stopped to think what would happen if Jazz T was to just stop?
I said he's irreplaceable. You heard what I said.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah?
I'm saying, have you ever thought what would happen? Like, that is a guy
Half the
that
game
you
would
can
die.
go to all the time.
Half the game or scene, if you want to call it, is dead. Yeah. Like, no, not even half. I'd say 3/4.
Not only is he dope at what he does, yeah, in terms of production, mastering, DJing, the whole lot, but he's also a very humble guy, family orientated and everything. And
yeah, I was at his wedding.
He's very trustworthy and reliable.
I trust.
Like, he's everything.
He's everything. He's an exemplary person, which I strive to be. He's my example. That's why I move the way I move. That's why I, what's the word? He's the, like when he's like my older brother, like the older brother I never had. Like, he's like the one who I would look up to, who I'd ask for advice. There's been time, and to be honest with you, I don't really like to get in. He's kind of a little bit one of the reasons why I fell out with certain man, because I just don't like seeing certain people get treated certain ways, innit? But it is how I feel, innit? Like, that's, everyone's got their, but he's irreplaceable. I love the guy. He's my brother. I've been at me, my wife, my kid. We went to his wedding, bro. Like, it's not. I rapped at his wedding. I was his wedding singer. Facts. But yeah, like arts. Yeah, man. Squeaky was there. All the man then was there. Jokes was there with me as well. But yeah, man. Chubbs was there. Diversion Tactics rap. Yeah, bro. Like, it was sick. It was a wonderful. I'll never forget it. And it kind of reminded me of my own wedding as well, when me and my wife got married, because it was like, yeah, we had everyone there kind of thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like, I love that guy, man. Without Jazz T, the game's dead.
Just kind of switching the subject a little bit, slightly on a more, I guess, in some ways, a negative one. We all know that you were working with Jehst, right? And Jehst is obviously, working with Jazz T, with the DJing and stuff. Does that ever interfere?
Let me reiterate. You know what? It's not negative, man. Like, it's positive, bro. Like, because something positive has come out of something negative. You understand? Like, in hindsight, regardless or whatever, I wish him the best, innit? Like, I'm not. It's one of them ones. It's like, I feel.
Do you want to explain what happened?
Oh man, it's too hard to explain, because it's too long. And to be honest with you, some things need to be left where they are now, I feel, because it's been too long, and it just becomes like silly, man. At the end of the day, the only issue, to just break it down, like, between me, is trust, innit? And with me, everything as I said, my heart's on my sleeve. Like, you know, I trusted this guy. Yeah, I made him the godfather of my youth. If that is not enough to show you how much I trust you, then I don't know what that is. But other than that, I wish him all the best. I don't wish him death, ill wills. Long story short, I found out something. I was like, you know what, I need to leave because this is not right. Like, this is not right morally for me. Morally for him, it's okay. I can't let my morals dictate how he should feel. I can't let my morals and how I move dictate, you know, how just because I made you the godfather, it doesn't mean you have to be. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, all of that shit. Like, so I just wish him the best. Do your thing, innit? That's that. If there's any other, you can ask me anything, Blade, about it, and I'll just tell you, man. But I don't really want to be on a case of, because I see it as taken away from the legacy we left. I still to this day say, hands down, between me and him, we've raised, like, we've brought forth a next generation of artists. A lot of who are quite popular and quite big now. They Lil Khan has even told me, yo, Guns and Navarone, that shit got me through school. Like, thank you. And then I see him doing Glastonbury. My kids see him, you know what I'm saying? It's like, thank you. I'm not gonna tarnish that because it's just over disagreements or over. It's just like, let's just move on, bro. Those times were nice. Let's just move on. You know what I mean? That's what I'm, because I feel I have moved on. Because if I haven't, I wouldn't be still putting out music.
See, I think that's interesting that you see. I like the way you like twisted it into it's not negative, it's positive.
Yeah.
Because, like, if it wasn't for some of those experiences, you wouldn't be the person that you are now.
Right. Hands down. Hands down.
And as much as we've all been in those situations.
Look, don't get me wrong. It doesn't make it right. You know, my kids need to eat or what they're owed or whatever. Like, it does not make it right. But at the same time, without them situations, I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be, if I didn't have this experience of touring and going around the world and doing certain things, I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't have the experience to be me. So I'm thankful for them experiences.
And I just want to say, while we're on camera, that we as friends, we speak. And from time to time, this subject comes up. And when we talk, you don't hold any bitterness. You know, you've moved on and you just basically want to progress into the future and provide for your kids.
Yeah.
Like you said as well, like, you know, I just want to feed my kids.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't want to make things about you. Like, to me, like, realistically, go and buy the album because this album is closure. This album is thanks. This album is literally closure on the whole book of that, and let's move on.
So are you saying that being closure, you're not going to do another Micall Parknsun album?
Oh, no. Like, I just mean closure on the whole situation as well, you know? Like, on the whole YNR, the whole Jehst, whole, like, closure on the whole.
And the new stuff is coming out on Boot?
I've got loads of stuff out on Boot. I've got stuff out on Tough Kong Records.
Yep.
I've got, you know, it doesn't matter. But, I mean, it's closure for me as an artist, and just, yo, man, bye. You know, like, they say time heals. Sometimes time doesn't. Sometimes time makes it worse. Sometimes time makes it better. But once, you know, sometimes time, like, in terms of, like, how once you go through it and the experience, it makes you tougher, it makes you better, it makes you a better person, or it makes you smarter, innit? This, I've done my exams, bruv. That's what this is. And I've noticed now, I know who I am as a person. Everyone who I ever mess with and work with, I mess with you, bro. That's how I always been. And I'm happy with that. I had to go through a thing of, like, raw. Certain man do man like that, like, but nah, it's cool. Don't let that stop me being me. Like, don't let that stop me. Like, everyone I mess with, that I consider them my peoples. Some of them are family to me. Giallo Point's family to me. You get me? My cousin's obviously family. Joker Star, Noughts. Obviously my wife. I've got, like, my close circle, and I've got other circles around that, and they're all, like, we're all connected. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I fucks with you. If I don't really mess with you, it's because it's on some sucker shit. It's like, I'm just like, I don't mess with you as a person, or I think, nah, our energies just don't. I wouldn't do that as a person, so I don't really think I should be around you. Do you understand what I'm saying? We've had conversations about certain people about this anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's just me. Like, that's just how I operate, and I'm happy with that now.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Before, man used to care, and I'd be in the shadows, like just,
But where trust is concerned, it's really difficult to just, because that's like you've given up your life pretty much for something or someone, and then all of a sudden the trust issue kind of kicks in, and now it's like, bro, I can't go there again. And
well, look, listen, man. Like, I invested a huge part of my career into this
and your
shit.
life.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's still into myself. It's still invested into myself. There's a shared vision in it.
Right.
And when we all started, I can go into details, but as I said, the more details I go in, the more it feels like I'm just painting a bad brush on man, just dissing man. I'm not on that. Like,
no, you know what I want. You know what I'm trying to get out of you is the person who speaks to me on the phone that is positive, and you recognize the things that you've moved to, and that it's putting you in a better place. Because every day things are growing. Every day something else is happening that's putting you in. You know what? The future is bright, isn't it?
This is what I'm saying. So it's just like, that's another reason in terms of time to heal and just to go on and to move on. But still, at the same time, you have legacy left, innit? And that's what I'm all about now. Legacy, taking control of that legacy. Because when I die, what are my kids going to have? Because this is the only thing, as an artist, we have. It's our art. Fuck the money. Yeah, money comes from our art, right? But who owns your art? You know,
you're trying to get that back.
That's all it's about, man.
So
that's all it's about. Like, bro, I don't care if you've made like whatever, even if it's made pennies. I don't care. If you've made pennies and you've been making pennies for 10 years or over 10 years, you've put them pennies back into other projects, all the pennies, because that was the goal for us.
In just a few words, if there was one message you had for him and you had to say it here now, what would it be?
Have a nice life, bro. I wish you all the best. I wish you and your family all the best. Just take my music down so me and my kids can eat off it now. I wish you nothing but the best. Peace.
There was another thing that you said to me previously.
We've invested in so much and it's just gone like that. And man ain't spoken to man since, what, 2019, blood. October. Nothing, blood. What year are we in? 2023. Yeah? It's not on me. I've told you something. You ain't that. You get me? That's done, innit? Like, boom. Move on, innit? You know my people. You know my email. You know what to do. My district. Bruv. That's what I'm saying. It just gets to. I don't want to sound bitter. Like, I don't want to. That's why I don't want to say. I don't want to talk about it too tough, bruh, to be honest with you. Because it's just like, it gets to that stage where it sounds like I'm gunning him. And I don't want to gun him. I wish him all the best.
And you've said that.
You know what I mean? Like,
and you said that off camera to me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to sound like a hater, bro.
Can I just say, you see, that's not beer, it's his piss. Like, it's a health thing, innit?
Yeah, it's like some new type of regime the doctors made me go on, and it makes me more powerful in that. Basically now, the more I drink of it, the more. You ever heard of like the lichens and that, and the werewolves and that? I'll have them abilities, bro. Yeah. So like, man can heal like Wolverine and them things there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no. But on another note, yeah, like, look, best as back to the experiences. We've had the boom experiences. We've gone around places and rare, and I've never really known about business because it's never really been about business. We never really cared about that. We cared about trying to make better for ourselves and put out art. But once you get to a stage or a 10-year or maybe 15-year mark, we got to sort something out here. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's gone too far. You can't sort it out. So let's just sort something out. But when you make it simple, you make something simple. If you make it simple, you know what? Let's just give the artist their music, innit? Or whatever.
Do you think that's part of the problem with the little scene that we have here, the underground scene that we have here? A lot of people aren't really clued up on the business side of it.
Yeah, no one's clued up in it. And and as I said, it goes back to, what I said, like, yo, I'm really mess with you. I really mess with you, Blade. Like, I really mess with man. So if I really mess with man, I want to work with you. that's where the grey area comes, and that's where the area comes where it could be manipulated in order to, you know, in my favor or their favor. I could be like, yo, all right, there's no paperwork, but I just advise everyone now get shit in writing.
Right. I'm going to count to 3 at some point, and I want you to give me an answer, and I'm going to give you that answer at the same time, right? And I'm going to ask you a question. Don't answer it yet. I'll count to 3 after I've asked. There's only one person that I trust enough in this industry from all angles. I mean, there's a few I trust, but there's one person that I know that I can rely on constantly, right? Who I feel I can go into business with and not sign any paperwork. What? You idiot. I'm going to ask that again.
No, bro, I'm just saying.
No, because I was going to say, I'm going to ask that again. I'm going to ask that again. So there's only one person that I feel that I can trust because I know he's reliable, he's honest, he's humble, he does everything and whatever. So if I count to 3, I want me and you both to answer at the same time because I feel we're going to come with the same answer.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3.
Jazz T.
That's it.
Jazz T.
And he knows his business side of it as well, even though it's on a smaller scale. It's not a major thing or whatever, but he just gets on with it and does it.
It's like this, yeah? It's even just that, put it this way, I'll put this into an analogy, right? And this is mad. And I'm not the only person, because I know there's a few artists out there who are my age as well, who've been doing this a long time. It took me until this album, the pandemic, to learn how to record. So 3 albums I've always had someone pressing R for me. Think about that. Like, man didn't even, I know how to make beats, but I didn't know how to record. Now, I've been around studios, how long? Been in labs, but not one said, yo, this is what you do. That's where we're at. Like, now. Like, this is where we're at. Like, oh, it's too long to show him. Oh, let me just do it. Or you know them kind of things there? Look, it's not rocket science. Each one teach one. What happened to that in hip hop, man?
It's gone. It's gone.
People come up to me and they ask me, oh, how'd you get this thing pressed? Oh, yo, I'll holler my man, I'll see what, or whatever, or it'll cost this. And then I'll see what it's doing, but I'm hearing there's a queue. I don't mind telling you. There's people I know, they're like, don't say nothing.
Oh.
Bro, like, I'm not into that shit. I think sometimes that's another reason why I'm not put certain places, because maybe they think my mouth's too big, and I'll just tell people, like, yo, man,
Bro,
if they ask me the question, wherever. I remember there's certain people back then when you were doing CDs, I would send them to you. Like, yo, yeah, Blade does them. You know what I mean? I'll be like, yo, you're the first name. Like, you know the ones there? I don't know what's wrong with the scene, where even down to beat makers or studio makers like Rain, like, oh yeah, there's this lab. Oh yeah, just holler Maestro or holler someone else.
Yeah.
Holler, bruv, we've got a whole network and we all do the same thing or all do.
But people don't want to give up the contacts.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either, bro.
There's certain men who've wanted to work for me, work with me for 10 years, and they've only got to do it now because they've been trying to contact other people.
Do you know what? I have to say something at this point where I find entertaining. There's been quite a few times that I've spoken to you on the phone when you've been out and about, picking up your kids from school and all that kind of stuff. And what you're talking about, your bluntness. Yeah, I've heard that. Listen, this is what he does. He's on the phone talking to me. Next minute, he's like, yo, Blood, do me a favor, bro. Don't smoke in front of my kids.
Well, I don't. Well, I do, but in the garden outside, like, I'm not on a bus. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference.
Do you know how many times I've heard you say stuff like that?
Yeah, because the youths, man, they're reckless, man. Like, they're just smoking this vape shit on the bus all the time and that. I don't know what... You know what's so mad? Like, they were outside waiting for the bus. They could have been bunning it, like, outside. But they wanted to act cool around people. Oh, man.
But that's just a testament to your bluntness. Like, you just say it as it is, you know?
It annoys people. To be honest with you, sometimes my wife and like they find it a bit embarrassing, innit? Because I'm just, you know, not like, you know, when you just, yeah, but Blood, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, but, you know, but I don't know. I don't think it's the way how I'm blunt. It's the way how, you know, the way how I say things. It's a bit too rude.
Yeah, but you're like that in your lyrics as well. You know what I mean? You just say what's on your mind, and you know the message comes across nice and clear.
Yeah, it's kind of mad. Like someone said to me the other day, like after listening to my new album, because they bought all of my stuff, like from interview mixtape, work, even down to when I Dunya, because it was Dunya. Funny enough, that's what I was saying, man. I can't like that's what made him discover me. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's many angles. Some people have just discovered me because I'm on the Snow Goons last album. They've never worked with any UK artist. The only UK artist they've ever worked with is me and my cousin, the Fly Hooligan. On this album, it's got MOP and got all of. So sometimes you get discoveries from elsewhere, and you get, that's. But this is another reason why controlling legacy is important. And if it's not, let it be a lesson. And whatever you're building, learn from people like Flip Tricks and learn from people who do paperwork. You know what I mean? Do paperwork, or even if it's not paperwork, have it in writing digitally, just an agreement, an email, something.
Don't delete that WhatsApp message you get.
Bruv, screenshot that shit and save that shit and bury it in the sand somewhere on a key. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if 20, 50 years later on down the line, some shit happens, you'd be like, but bruv, you said that and no one could be lying because it's there. It's like you both agreed. You know what I mean? So, and you don't really want to shame people. Do you know what I'm saying?
How did you transition from being the MC to like being this producer that's now producing for so many people and being able to leave the MCing behind? Because when I was doing stuff like that, every time I did a beat that was dope, I would just keep it and not bother. You know
but I've never left the MCing behind. That's the thing was fucking hilarious about the shit.
But I'm not saying you've left it behind. What I'm saying is you can part with beats, which I know you know are dope.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, because I've always had the notion of I'll just make another one. I'll just make another one. I'll just make another one, and I have been making another one after another one. You know what I mean? I almost brought my computer with me today because
you're gonna make a beat here?
I was just gonna make it on the train, like just so it's past time and that. But yeah, like I'll just make another one. It's not wrong. Like certain beats I've kept, and certain beats have just hit me, and those are the ones that have just become mine, and I've done a song or on the album or whatever. But like, no, I'll just do another one. I don't mind. I am a conduit for this shit. Like, I love making beats. I love digging. I love finding samples. Now I love fucking with sample free packs now as well, because I've got people like big up, happy birthday to him, or it's not Beat Butcher. Yeah. Got my man like AP. You get me? Like, I get drums. AP be playing drums, so some of my drums are actually him playing drums, and I've just chopped them to make my own loops.
With a lot of artists, I guess what happens is you see when they're out there, but you don't see what happens before they get out there. So you were in another crew.
Yeah, bruv. When I first started out, which is kind of mad, like it was, I was in a crew called NWC, and it was
What does it stand for?
Northwest Collaboration, and it consisted of me, Ram, Amos, who used to DJ for Genesis Elijah, and Kyza, Terra Firma Kyza, mad. ME, Marcus Explains, Selom, and myself. And basically, there used to be a place called YCTV, which my wife used to go to. It's called Youth Cable Television. It was like basically adjourned to a next studio called Sound Arts. But YCTV, funny enough, was built by Challenge Annika. Remember Annika Rice? Yeah, bruv. Bruv. So yeah. So my wife, my girlfriend, my wife now and then, she's like, yo, if you want to use the studio, you have to become a member. So she hooked me up to become a member so I could use the studio in the place. But they had 2 people there. So I was like, so Selom introduced me to Ram. And obviously I knew Amos. Like Amos, I've known him since I was 4 years old. His dad taught me how to ride a 2-wheel bike, bro. His dad and my dad used to be in the park, you know what I mean? Like, so so he's involved. Ram's like, I get introduced to Ram. I already knew Kyza, because Kyza, funny enough, he was in the same class as my wife at secondary school. So I basically, what made me discover Kyza could rap is I went to this Westwood thing with Ram, and I got introduced. It was a Westwood showcase, and we got invited by Versatile E. Big up Versatile E. He was the first person to show me what an MPC 2000 could do and what it was. And he invited us to the showcase because I think he was doing something, because obviously he was co-signed by Funky DL at the time. So we've come there, and then I'm just like, and then I just see Adam, and I'm like, yo, bro, what you doing here? Bro, I'm about to rap, man. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, man, like Westwood told me to come because I said, bro, and he just went up on stage, blood clean. Just like, man played, he didn't even speak, I think, all I remember is the first beat was True Master by Pete Rock. You know, the one with, yeah. And he rapped from start till the tune was done.
No breaks.
No breaks.
Chorus, nothing.
No chorus, nothing. And he come off the thing, everyone was losing it. I said, blood, you're coming studio with me.
There was a time when for a good 2-3 years, he was my favorite MC in the UK. Well, not just UK, he was literally one of my favorites worldwide. Done. It was like, bro, that energy, the lyricism, the cadence, the flows, the way he just like brought the sentence in from one to another, and it's just something else.
Bro, even when we were doing the two half stuff, man, was it I pull a shooter? Was it I pull maneuvers and a shooter?
And it was
leave
the
your
other one
crew
about
stuck in a bed, up him in a booper.
What's the other one where it goes, man, a man is denting your car up and
oh yeah, bruv. You know what?
Hell,
you know what? That lyric was a different lyric. Man made the man him change the lyric.
Oh really?
Yeah, you need to get him up in there, Kyza, bro. You come up in there and tell him.
Come
the lyric.
on, yo.
I was gonna tell him the real lyric, but I won't. I'll leave that to you when you do eventually come here. But that lyric, dent up your car, that's not the lyric. That lyric got changed.
Okay.
Because the lyric was raw blood.
Oh, seriously.
So think about car, denting your car up. What else can you rhyme with car up? I'll leave that to you lot. You know what I mean? I'll say it off camera afterwards. Okay. But yeah, like we, from there, like man done the tune called Blimey, and then I took the fucking CD and I gave it. I forgot how we got hold of 279's number. I got hold of him and he invited us up to Choice. I gave him the CD. It was safe, man. I played it. And we went back and he didn't play it. I was gutted. And then the next week he played it. I was so gassed. And then you know the ones there, like we're getting played on the radio. We have no idea what we're doing. We just want to put some shit together. You know what I mean? And then like it was kind of mad. We got invited by DJ Excalibur. Respect to him too. I think it was Mr. Bongos, and everyone was there. Like Jehst was there, Skinny Man was there, those of the Mud Fam was there, and we performed it there as well. Like the Call Blimey, me, Kyza, rare. But yeah, bro, we go wait. Too many fucking things, bro. Like too many fucking. It's just, even to go from that, me wanting to know how to produce beats, going through sound arts, and then going through like showing that MPC, and then trying to produce together and then producing for myself, or like I've always been on the beats. Really, I've never. When I started getting into this, I've been on the beats. Like when I came out first single, I had a beat on the shit and the struggle I produced, which features Jehst. I produced that beat. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like I've always had the ear for just wanting to make a beat or wanting to.
And that's never left you.
Yeah, like.
And it's something that, like you said, you wanted to bring the laptop on the train because it's something you take everywhere. So let me just like break that down a little bit.
When we were starting off back then, like even back then with Two Halves, NWC, we would write the song. I'd make the beat and we would write the song, and then we would save some money, and then we'll go to Melrose, like, because it was 20 quid an hour. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we'll do a session. You know what I mean? So because we would do a session, like we knew time is money, so we'd try and perfect the songs, innit? And then book people. Even when I did Freedom Fighters, a lot of people don't even know I produced Freedom Fighters with Kalashnikov, Jehst, and like I made that off a Yamaha SU10, bro.
I didn't know that because like I was just hearing it, but I didn't have the physical.
Yeah, bruv, because it wasn't out physically. It only came out. Well, it came out on the interview mixtape, but you need another episode of me because the amount of people I've worked with, even all the way up to Sunny Jim, all the way up even like I remember going like us freestyling all the outside of Harry Love's house, like me, Mr. Tibbs, Verb T, Ram obviously, Kyza. This bruv bear, it was Harry Love's bruv, Maestro, Reveal, like all of like literally like the plethora like of Kung Fu, the basis of that, like all because we're like northwest, innit? Literally up the road, Harry Love's there, like down the road, Kyza's there, like we were all, I'm in Kilburn, Imran from the poet, Imran Nomadic Poet from the Planets is up there, like we were all. So it was just a plethora of artists. I was always around shit to soak up and get inspired, and then now when I moved out of London to where I am now, don't know. It's just stuck with me, man. I'm just a
So
junkie
it's
for
just,
this
it's
shit.
literally, it's just been your life.
Yeah.
If there was one thing you could do different, to change things turning out in a different way, what would you change and what would you want to see different, if anything?
Out of the scene or out of just
Whichever,
my life,
whichever direction you want to go.
out of my scene and this and everything. I would say accountability, like accountability and trust, because what I've noticed with the scene is no one, if anyone tries to take account for anything or a movement or something, it's from a place of ego. It's not from a place of like just truth. And then when it is from a place of truth, people look at man like it's from a place of ego. And it's like we need to just lay this ego down and actually look to the source, because I feel like no one is actually getting their flowers. They get paid, but man, no one is getting their flowers. Not the legends, yourself. No one's getting it. Like no one will get it because everyone's on this. Like that's the one thing I'll change.
And it's destructive.
Yeah, I know, but that's the one thing I'll change. Like I'd love to change. I'd love to be a millionaire, but I think if I did change that, I would be a millionaire, because everyone would get their flowers. Everyone will get their just deserves. Everyone will get what they put in.
Do you think, like, if a handful of us got together that really wanted to see the change, we could make that change start so others would be interested in getting involved and making the change bigger, spreading it like a stone being thrown into a pond and watching that ripple?
I would like to say yeah, but it's going to take more than years. It's going to take action, and that's the issue with the way how things
Okay,
are
are you
today.
prepared to take that action?
To be honest with you, I have been taking that action, but no one's noticed. They just think
Hey,
that
I
I'm just
noticed.
no. I know you noticed, but I mean, I don't think anyone's noticed. I don't think anyone's noticed. They just think maybe they think I'm just trying to make a name for myself by producing for all of these up and coming artists. They think I'm just doing it to just make money off these. And if you ask these up and coming artists, who if you think I'm not making money off them.
And you know what's mad, bro? People are happy to share stuff if it concerns them. But if
Yeah, I
I
know
put a
it's an
thing up
it's
to
an ego based thing,
right,
man.
which is
It's
sad
a
because if everyone was
narcissistic.
to support each other,
It's a
we would all be in
narcissistic
a
base.
different place.
It's like basically, I was just looking at something what I just seen here, and it just reminded me of a lyric from So What. As I say, you say it takes more than a cap to rap, it takes more than a gat to clap, and that's a fact. I'm telling you, this rap shit's unacceptable. Now we're all doing it for the decimals. There's decimals, but there's decibels. It's like a double entendre type line, because yeah, we're doing it to be heard, or are we doing it to be for the cash? We'll get the cash once we're heard. And a lot of us conflict the two. They will conflict of why we want to shine, when it's really just down to ego based shit, man. I want to be the best, or clout. A lot of artists nowadays just love the feeling of being better than another artist. They don't care about. But there's a lot of people who are the backbone of this thing. Literally, if they don't create art, therefore they don't eat. Their family doesn't eat. I'm under that category. You know what I mean?
You know what? We may have to do a part 2.
Yeah, bruv. I'll talk about
But
anything.
can I just say on camera? I want to say thank you for something. I was at Bournemouth and I was doing a show, and there was myself, there was Foreign Beggars. I believe you were there. Ed Squire was there. There was a few other people there, and I made an announcement which I've actually got on camera, so I might add it to this, where I said that I was walking away, and I see your figure running from the back of the club to the front, taking the mic off me, and telling me I can't retire. What the fuck am I doing? Blah blah blah. And for me, that's always been one of my most memorable moments, because I find it difficult. I'm going to say this straight, yeah. To get validation from other artists is fucking hard, bro. Right? So when you said that, it was just confirmation that what I did meant something.
It does mean something. And this is why I carry on. Like, how can I give up if I'm telling you you can't? This is another battery in my back. Like, this is another Another, bro, we're gonna do a part 2. But as I said,
but what I'm saying is this: the little story I just said isn't
yeah, no,
about
but it's the
Blade.
truth.
It's about
Yeah,
the
it's
person
about
you
me.
are.
It's about me. Like, I know it's about me because I know that's how I am. Like, that's like, no, man, you shouldn't be giving up. You shouldn't allow bullshit to start. You know, I've done enough now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what fucks me. When people allow outside powers or outside fuckery stop them from being them. And that's what it is. That's why I hid in the shadows. It wasn't like I gave up and I just started producing. Yes, I have to work twice as hard than a lot of people because I'm a black man. Who's going to relate to me? No disrespect. Unless I'm Rich 32 or unless I'm selling beats to nines and them, man, it's not happening, blood. Yeah? So I need to make my own lane. And that's all I did. And I will never stop. How can I say I'm going to retire and I stop rapping when I'm telling you, bro, what kind of example will I be? Like, I'm not going to let anyone, I don't care who you are, yeah? The only person who can stop me is God. This is, my wife identified this is what I want to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. She knows this is a part of me. This is a part of my DNA to make music, to do this. This is what I've been weird. It feels like I've been born to do it. You get me?
You know what? I think maybe that's a good place to stop this and say, I think maybe we should organize a part 2 at some point, and I might just come to your local park or something.
Yeah, bro, we'll do part 2 here, bro. Yeah, man, I can smoke more trees and come to my crib.
But is there anything that you want to promote? Anything? Any last words?
Please go and buy my new album. It's called Still. And by the time this interview is out, go and buy the anniversary and first pressing of Me, Myself and Akai, 10-year anniversary. Classic. Please support the cause, support the cause.
And is it just vinyl?
Yeah, vinyl. You can get this you can get on digital. All of these are on digital platforms. I think there's some CDs left. If they are, maybe they might be gone by the time you see this. But look out for more and more stuff with this. And yeah, literally, like, if you want to book me any shows, there should be details underneath the video, which obviously I'll give to the man with the master plan. And yeah, like, literally just support the cause. I'd like to big up everyone I've produced for and made dope music with. That's all I can say. That includes past and present, and you know what I mean. Thank you.
Can they get the records from Boot Records?
Yeah, you can get the records from Boot Records. This will be available from Village Live, and myself, and all digital platforms. Just stream it. Stream it only from My Music Records as well, or Village Live if there's one up with Village Live. But yeah, just My Music Records and Boot Records.
And if you were to say to the promoters like that are out there watching and whatever, sell yourself. Just
if you want one of the illest shows, you want to book me, Jazz T, Joker Star, Kashmir, Verb T, all of us together, bro. Like, literally, if you want one of them banging things, just come and just hit me up, man. If you want to hit up the Fly Hooligan, just hit man up. Just hit up. Man's got plethora of music, and I'm good to go.
Where can they find you on Instagram, or is it via email?
On Instagram, it's Parky Pics. I know it sounds funny because that's not my name. My name is Micall Parknsun, but yeah, Parky Pics. So it's Parky, PARKYPIX. I sell beats and display a lot of beats there. So if you want to buy some beats, hit me up. You can go to my SoundCloud. There's a SoundCloud link in there, and you can go on my socials. Just type in Micall Parknsun. It's spelled differently. MICALLPARKNSUN.
So there you have it, people. Make sure you go check out his new album and associated videos, and obviously go follow him on all of his connection pages linked in the description below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click the bell to receive the notifications, like, share, and get involved in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching. Stay safe. See you soon. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. I'll be back again, man. Got part 2 to do. Yeah. 521, yo.
I've got about 13 more shows I'm doing, and that's it.
Blood, what madness are you talking about? Blood, I'm being real with you now, man. Don't say stuff like that, man. Don't say stuff like that, man. I'll be real now, bro. with you not in this game right now, yeah, I'll be real. Whatever game people want to say it is, yeah, I won't be doing what I'm doing right now, man. Like, I'm being real, like, I ain't on no Michael Jackson fan thing, like, you broke my heart shit, but I'm being real, blood. You can't do that, man. Straight. You're like, blood, I got guerrilla tactics. I got that shit, man. It's about how you reach. You've reached and you've touched so much people, bruv. You can't do that, man. You can't do that. Straight. Everyone has to make noise for this man here. Straight.
Bro, I appreciate what you're saying, but the reality is, like, you know the struggles. I got kids to feed like you have, and music does not pay the bills in this country.
Are you going to keep that in there?
Which part?
The 30 seconds left. We've got 30 seconds.
No.
Oh, so we can be like, oh, well, fuck this guy, bruv. He's a dickhead. Oh, bro.